There are 3 automatic qualifiers. So the winner of this matchup between Yarborough out of Virginia and Santa Niello out of Pitt will make it to Kansas City. This is going to be tight.
It's going to be a close one. And, you know, you look at those seeds, it doesn't always work out the way you think it is. Latona, he's the 3 seed. He gets to go against Arene in that final. And now Yarborough is trying to get an AQ here at ACC. Santaniello trying to wrestle above his seed here and claim 3rd place. Look at the strength from Yarborough. Double underhooks to a bear hug. Gets to that single leg. Just lifted Santaniello. And we talked about him when he wrestled earlier, that height difference. He's a longer 133, so he's got more of a reach. Right there, you just see he picks up Santaniello. Hasn't completed the takedown yet, though. He was in a good spot. You see this? It just picks him up. He's got a little bear hug going. Just picks him up, and rather than throw him down, tries to get it, but Santaniello just dead weights.
He did dead weight.
Hangs there, which was the best thing he could do.
Yeah, Yarborough's, he's wire, he's long. So his weight is dispersed a little bit differently. That's a great call as far as the dead weight for the Pitt Panther there, which might have been the best thing to do right there to avoid a throw.
If he tries to move too much, I would have said Yarborough could have swung and just swung him and kind of put his hip on the side of a leg and gotten the takedown a little easier, but Santaniello just hangs, so his weight was only going down. You know, I'm sure there's some scientific way to explain that, gravity, all those things. Now Santaniello, thought he almost was getting Yarborough to his back. Yarborough defends it well to get straight up once again in the first period. Just to check in on mat 1, Lachlan McNeil in the second period is up 7-1 on Tom Crook. There's a review underway, but McNeil in control there.
.125, they're all done with Jacob Camacho taking on Cooper Flynn tonight. Moore with a 3rd place finish. 2 AQs out of 125.
And Moore will be hopeful to get an at-large bid. I feel like he has an opportunity with the way he's been ranked most of this year. He's been kind of a staple in that top 35. So we'll see if he gets an at-large with the 3rd place finish.
Both matches going on right now for a guaranteed spot in Kansas City at the NCAAs. And Lachlan McNeil over on mat 1 with an 8-1 lead. Still see the zeros in our matchup here through 1 period. Let's see if Marlon pops right up here.
Yeah, another scoreless first period here on mat 2. It's been a lot of close matches. And this one that means a lot. It's an automatic qualification at stake between Yarborough and Santaniello. So both wrestling very well. And like you just said, Dean, Yarborough pops right up and Santaniello doesn't fight it too much. Gives it a 1-point difference in favor of the UVA wrestler.
Boy, Lachlan McNeil, he nailed it. No longer say that he doesn't have that ACC win if he keeps on rolling over there.
And that's the thing, is Lachlan McNeil is one of the best wrestlers in the country. No matter how he's wrestled as of late, that's something people in the wrestling world know, and him going 0-4, and up until this moment, up 0-5 in the ACC this year is not something that was expected, and I don't think it really shows that he's any worse, but the guys in his weight class have gotten the better of him, and he's getting some revenge on Tom Crook right now for the earlier match. So another point for Yarborough. Goes up 2-0. Santaniello, plenty of time to get a takedown.
Just so everybody knows, we will have 3 fifth-place matches at 174, 184, and 197. Yarborough with a 2-0 lead.
Into the second period on mat number 2.
Yeah, ends the second period up 2-0. Santaniello elects to go bottom to start. After Yarborough started the second on bottom.
Here we go to the third. Let's see what Yarborough wants to ride a little bit here. He's got the leg.
Brings it all the way up to the shoulder. We already talked about the height difference, and it's a good spot for Yarborough. Santaniello, good job to get out.
Santaniello's got to show something, though. I haven't seen a warning, but he did pretty much head straight out of bounds right there, Nick Kloss.
Yeah, he pretty much did. Didn't get a stall warning, but especially with him being down right now, something they're not really looking at, and goes away.
McNeil has punched his ticket for the Tar Heels, your host. So McNeil at 141 will claim third and, more importantly, punch his ticket to Kansas City. Don't forget, at 141 tonight on ACC Network, that's going to be a good one. Cole Matthews against Ryan Jack. That's going to be fantastic.
All those final matches are going to be really fun. Strongly recommend tuning in at 7 to ACC Network. Sean and Tony on the call for that one. It'll be a fun one. I'll head home after this and watch that. So now mat 1 moves on to their next third place match between Andonian and Ferrero at 157. We'll move on to 149 after this. Yarborough holding on to that 2-0 lead.
Looking pretty comfortable though, right?
And now this is a moment where I tend to agree with you. There it is, the point. And a point awarded to Santaniello. And here comes the brick from Coach Garland. I'm surprised as to where that point was going. I was about to say that Santaniello is pretty much every single time going out off the mat. But they might be considering Yarborough is the one initiating it, but that I don't understand why. Santaniello has obviously been hopping up and hopping towards the edge of the mat. So another video review here. So he gets high on it.
No, I feel like he's hopping back.
That's how I feel as well. As there's a pin there. Zendonian, we weren't able to show you, but he just basically did that on one leg when he hopped up.
Yeah.
He is not putting pressure on that right knee at all. I won't say at all, he is walking on it, but it does seem very ginger. And so they're apparently looking at where they blew the whistle here on mat 2. See if we can hear it. And you look there, the disbelief on Yarbrough's face when he sees the point awarded to Santaniello.
I feel like Andonian has done enough to get himself to Kansas City. Do you agree?
I 100% agree. Especially a guy of his caliber. It's someone who he's had the record, he has the pedigree, he has everything you need.
He's got the fall right there, kind of to put an exclamation point on it, right?
He was the clear third place wrestler, top 3. Let's see if we get an answer here. And they still award that point to Santaniello. So it was an escape that they just granted for Santaniello, saying he got out from Yarbrough and gave him the escape 2-1.
So Yarbrough with just the 1-point lead, 50 seconds remaining. Ooh, Yarbrough got himself in a little bit of trouble and then gets out of it.
Really good job by Yarbrough. He was this close to being on his back, and Santaniello pinning him.
Instead, he gets 3.
Instead, he gets the takedown, gets 3 points. Great counter by Yarbrough. Yeah, he's fighting for his life there, but
gets his legs up.
Santaniello just slips for a moment. If he doesn't, Yarbrough might be on his back, maybe pinned, at least back points, but instead, Yarbrough is able to slip and then counterattack on Santaniello. As now mat 1 back in action. Tyler Eichens and Alex Faison of NC State, or North Carolina State action on mat 1.
Both those two have already made it to Kansas City. And we have just witnessed the Virginia Cavalier, Yarbrough, get it done. Yep. As you heard, the final ticket there, Yarbrough at 133. Congratulations to the Virginia Cavalier. Now remember, again, tonight it'll be Rene from NC State and Latona from Virginia Tech at 133.
Love to see that smile there. That's the smile you should have. You just punched a ticket to the NCAA championships and does it in the 3rd place match. Only 3 automatic qualifiers. I don't know if you're going to get another one out of 133 in the ACC. So he needed that, and he does it.
So this will be Finn Solomon and Jaden Scott at 149. Tonight, as part of the coverage on ACC Network, it'll be Caleb Henson, your 1 seed in the final, taking on Jackson Arrington, your 2 seed. Another matchup between Virginia Tech and NC State. There are 5 championship matchups between those 2 rivals.
And Jaden Scott got a win over Finn Solomon earlier this year when they took each other on in a duel back in February.
Scott of North Carolina taking on Finn Sullivan of Pitt on mat 2.
On mat 1, Ishins has Faison in a cradle, potential pin here.
Wow. Oh, now he's in a really good spot. He wants it. Can he hang on?
He's either going to get a pin or a lot of back points. Tyler Ishins with a big one there. He felt really good about that one. Ends it in a great fashion. Faison is a heck of a wrestler. Ishins gets third. Both those guys are going to NCAAs, but a great win to go into the NCAA tournament. Got another look there on mat 1 of how he did it. Just the right leg of Faison was too high up. Ishins saw it, clamps the hands, found the head and the knee, and gets to the cradle. Great move by Solomon in mat 2 on this split box.
Solomon on the board. Ishins with a couple falls, and he also had a major 14-0. He did lose to the talented Justin McCoy, but even that one was fairly tight. Sudden victory. So at 174, Ishins finishes in third, advances to Kansas City, and you know, look, there's no way he can win the most valuable wrestler because he only finished in third, but he had a most valuable day, I would say, no, with a couple of falls and a big win.
Oh, he had a really good day, and we just heard Max Stout has been given the third place win for 197. Kinsey not wrestling.
We talked about that happens sometimes. So Stout and Kinsey both will make Kansas City. Tonight, it'll be Trent Hidley against Max Shaw for the 197 championship. It'll be interesting to see what weight class they decide to start tonight. They don't always start with the championships at 125.
They don't. I know a certain broadcaster wants it to start at 157. Take another look at this takedown. Ooh, what an inside trip from Solomon. Just has the tie up top, gets in close enough. It's a big way. That's a big way to use the height as an advantage, the long legs, the long arms, because he can tie up, get Scott straight up, because even if Solomon's not standing straight up, Scott is, then he can use the long legs, gets the inside trip.
Yeah, Solomon showing some quickness there, no?
Solomon's a very good wrestler for Pitt this year. He went 2-3 in the ACC, but had losses to Scott, Arrington, and Henson. So they're very good wrestlers. Henson, obviously, one of the best in the country for Virginia Tech.
Keith Gavin in the corner for Pitt. He has produced 84 All-Americans and 17 national champs. He and his wife, Carrie, by the way, have 4 children.
He's staying busy.
So you just heard the PA announcer. Remember, there's 3 fifth-place matches. They're going to get them rolling over on mat 1. Solomon with a 4-1 lead at 149. And now all the pundits are out there that are watching this, knowing that we came on the air thinking that the ACC believes they'll get on top of the 28 AQs perhaps 5 at large, maybe 6. Probably 5 is the more realistic number, but they would love 6, and then it's a matter of who they are. Andonian's got to be one of them, no?
I think Andonian's got to be one of them. And then after that, I have to look through the brackets and see where, you know, other guys fall. It's those lighter weight classes. 165 has 2, 157 has 2, 149 has 2, you know, 125 has 2. So it's who of those guys really have that record to get in. Scott could have a chance. He's got 17, possibly 18 wins on the year if he wins this one. I think Crook, Tom Crook is definitely a guy you could look at for an at-large bid as well in 141.
Well, and you got to remember these 3 fifth-place matches, because the reason they put those in there is a lot of times they're looking for at-large winners out of that 5th-place matchup, and we've got one going on. Mat 1. Meanwhile, here in front of us, Solomon with a 4-1 lead. Solomon now has the riding time.
Yeah, Scott's got to get going here. Riding time doesn't matter at this moment. If he can get a takedown, eat into the riding time, even it up at 4-4. And then he can figure it out from there, whether that's overtime or trying to get some back points. Or that, get the escape.
Takedown would give him the lead. They'll have just over a minute to do it.
Has enough time to negate that riding time, right? It's just over 9 seconds over the minute mark. Coach is telling him to throw it by. Nearly gets to the single leg. Gets out. 36 seconds now left for Scott. Has to fix that headgear.
Wrestling for third, 149 pounds on that 2. He approached the limited mark in the opening period, wrestling for 174.
It's go time for Scott. He's got the angle. See if he can get to the leg. Going for that trip.
See, Augustine's a good example. He qualified last year. He's in this 5th-place match, right, at 174, where they're sending 4. And I think he's a guy that you got to consider potentially, right?
You definitely have to. He was one of those. He was one of those guys in that 174. He was part of one of those matches we wanted to highlight coming out of the gate when Augustine and Faison wrestled, because Faison just lost to Ishins, but both of those guys, Faison and Augustine, are up to the quality of an NCAA wrestler. As you see there, Solomon gets the win.
So Solomon gets the win for Pitt, as we've got the 3rd-place match now between Holden Heller at Pitt and Derek Fields at NC State at 165. Again, 2 AQs here. So Heller, who came in as the 2 seed, fell to Brady 9-3. He came back. It wasn't easy, but he beat Estrada. So this is the 1-2 right here. Because of that, I feel like the picture's getting clearer as far as where some of those at-large bids might come, and I feel like we might be watching one right here.
Yeah, exactly. Fields and Heller, 2 guys who had phenomenal seasons, but Hamilton, who just looked really, really good in that 1st round match against Estrada, and then he ends up upsetting Fields. So it puts Brady, who is the 3 seed, who ends up beating Heller, and Hamilton, who upset Fields. That's the championship match, and then you get a championship quality match for 3rd place. And you're right, these are 2 guys who probably are deserving of at-large bids.
The drama is not over. Just because we're getting a little bit closer to the setup for tonight's 10 championship individual matchups. They'll also crown a team champion and then give out the most valuable wrestler. I feel like this one, there's a lot on the line here, Fields and Heller.
I think there definitely is for both these guys, especially both of them want to avenge a loss that they probably feel they shouldn't have had. 2 guys who expected, based on the way their coaches coach them and they run these programs, expected to be in the finals.
Well, what's fascinating is I did NC State at Duke, and Coach Pops talking about the fact that they, again, the only weight class they didn't make last year's, they sent 9, was 165, and they had what he described as an all-out battle. And so now Fields coming in as the #1 seed. If he wins, does that complete the mission for Coach Pops?
Could be. Coming into this season, Coach Pops said the one weight class he actually didn't feel was fully set yet was 157. That was with Ed Scott, who ended up winning that battle, who's obviously as good as he is as a scramble coming between Fields and Heller. Augustine gets a tech over Console in that 5th place match, and I imagine that might be enough to catch the eyes.
We got a little bit of a scramble here. It's crazy.
Great scramble between these 2.
Fields beat Heller 7-1 back on January 26th.
Next up, wrestling for 5th at 184 and getting a 9-point bearing match. Ethan Weatherspoon of Virginia and Connor Becker of Duke. Again, wrestling at 184 pounds on mat 1. Scoreless through 3 minutes of wrestling over on mat 2 at 3rd place at 165.
So Heller's going to be down to start this 2nd period. Fields, like you just said, had a decision win earlier this year on Heller. But that's not when you want to be wrestling your best. You want to wrestle your best right now here in March. Almost getting the takedown, or at least keeping Heller down. Goes out. Weatherspoon and Becker now in the 5th place mat on mat 1.
No soft hands, he grabbed you. No rushing. No rushing.
Fields, the red shirt sophomore for Wolfpack, placed 3rd in the U20 World Team Trials back in 2022 at 74 kilograms, and also 8th in the U.S. Open 74 kilogram U20 Freestyle Championship.
Stall warning there for Fields. Fields lets Heller go for a 1-point difference here in the 2nd period. This is only Fields' 2nd match of the day. He had the bye to the semis, loses to Hamilton, and then has a bye to the 3rd place match.
Before it gets too late, I do want to thank Lauren George and Evan Badler from the UNC sports production crew, who played a big role in getting all of this organized. Pretty sure Evan will also feature tonight as part of the championships on ACC Network. Alex Wheat will produce with Evan Badler directing. Our main man, Paul Beam, will slide over into the AD spot for tonight's 7 p.m. ACC championships.
Fields just hasn't been much of the aggressor today. Another match right now going into the third. Just a 1-point difference, only that escape being the difference here, and then 37 seconds of riding time for Fields. No one's really generating movement for a takedown.
Just a 1-0 lead. I think
for Heller.
Brandon Neff again, who is the associate commissioner, handles wrestling championships, and also Kevin Davis, who is the new ACC, for lack of a better word, SID for wrestling. Steve Phillips still helps out, but he used to be the main man here. Kevin's been great, though, getting us all the information we asked for. And speaking of that, I want to thank all the team SIDs for the work they do.
All the match notes we had to go through.
Yeah.
SIDs often don't get the appreciation they deserve.
Amen.
Now tied up Fields. It's the third period. Make something happen. Good change of levels. Heller uses it to his advantage.
Here we go. It's getting away. It's still 1-1. And as I said, 1-1, there was 1:11 remaining in the third. It'd only be fitting if we saw another overtime match here as part of our match 2 coverage.
Here's Heller. Heller could make this a potentially disastrous day for Fields, who comes in as the 1 seed. If he loses this one, he's 0-2, but now Fields is in a really good spot. So you hear those NC State fans.
"19 seconds remaining." Coach Pops.
Stahl comes in. Have to reset.
Stalemate. Meanwhile, Ethan Weatherspoon from Virginia with a 6-1 lead over Connor Becker in the 5th place match over on mat 1. That one at 184.
And we go to overtime. Again.
I waited for you to say it this time, Nick.
Mat 2. The mat of extra time.
So well said.
So sudden victory here for this first period. Then it goes to the 32nd. Half periods and double overtime. One wrestler will be on bottom, and then the other shot. Fields.
And Fields gets it.
Ends it quick, just hops right out the gate, gets the takedown. The NC State faithful loves to see it. You haven't had to see them cheer very much because most of their wrestlers are in the finals, but a very nice takedown going for that double leg. Gets the win for Fields.
That could be an at-large, I would think, as the #1 seed. Wouldn't you guess?
I'd think so. Both those guys good enough to wrestle at NCAAs.
Well, there you go. That could also happen. Reese Heller out of pit. and Gavin Kane out of UNC. Right now, they're basically wrestling for their seed in Kansas City, as they have already qualified for Kansas City in the NCAAs. And I think that's the best way to say it. I think the winner of this will get a higher seed, don't you? And potentially?
More than likely, yeah, especially these two guys, with Kane missing 2 matches in ACCs. He didn't wrestle against Pitt, so these two guys did not see each other. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top, and I would imagine whoever wins it gets a higher seed at NCAA.
No score here as they've gone a minute. Meanwhile, on mat 1, Andy Smith with a 6-1 lead over Bonsu from Duke.
Just got 4 back points too. Makes it 10-1.
4 points for the near fall following the second takedown of the period. Now a 10-1 lead for Andy.
Heller adds 3 points on that takedown.
Bonsu of Duke on mat number 1.
Immediately lets Kane up.
So both Heller and Kane are already in. Tonight, it'll be Thomas Stewart Jr., the #1 seed from Virginia Tech, taking on Dylan Fishback, the #3 seed, who got an 8-2 win over Heller. Which, that matchup between Stewart Jr. and Fishback is one of 5 championship matchups tonight that'll feature Virginia Tech and NC State. NC State looking to make it 6 in a row, 21 total. And for Pat Papalizio, that'll be his 7th.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's going to need a lot of the wins in those 5 final matches. They want to try and steal that ACC title away from NC State. See if Kane can use that front headlock. Called a stalemate. Excuse me, end of the first period.
So remember that there'll be a team champion tonight, as NC State 93.0, Virginia Tech 80.5. The fact that they have 5 matchups in the championships, I feel like makes you say it's not guaranteed, but obviously Hidley is a strong one as well. I mean, you feel like NC State will probably win their 6th in a row, but Virginia Tech might have something to say about it.
The way it's looking is, I'd imagine NC State gets to 6 tonight, but Virginia Tech, who knows? I mean, if they sweep all of their final matches, and something possibly could happen. Kane getting in on leg, good job. Great defense from Heller to kind of skip away. Very too close in the second period, and Andy Smith just got a Tech win on Quasi Bonsu to win 5th place at 197, which finishes up our 5th place matches on the day. Just 1 match remaining before they get ready for finals.
The word was we were going to have it on mat 2. Mat 1 is available, perhaps.
They want to keep all the fun for us.
Yeah. Heller 3-2 with 45 seconds remaining at 184. Both of them with 4 automatic qualifiers to the NCAA championships already in.
10 seconds left in the second. I imagine they're going to leave this one to the third. Kane starts on bottom. Nope. Okay, Heller. Looks like Heller will be on bottom to start the third. I was going to say, Dean, I was like, that's setting up for another overtime match. Now only one match in action here. It's Katka versus Pitzer at the 285 heavyweight. Third place coming up after this, which could be a really good one. Pitzer, a really good wrestler out of Pennsylvania. You've seen how he's done today. And
yeah, he had a pin, made it look easy.
That's Cade Lau.
Yeah.
Now here's Kane. Kane's working for the cradle right now. He might have it locked based on this look, and he does. He has it locked, so he's got to pull back. If he can get the weight backwards, he can sit Heller into the cradle. But really hard to do and keep those legs locked. I mean, those hands locked. There it is.
There it is. Oh.
He's got to keep pushing him over. That leg is making it really difficult.
Well, that does not look comfortable at all for Heller, does it?
It's not.
Under a minute remaining, and Kane has to know, if nothing else, he needs a couple swipes here. I haven't seen any swipes yet, have you?
No, he hasn't gotten back points. He needs to turn him. That leg is getting in the way as Kane tries to push it. He's got 37 seconds. I think the only way he can really make this cradle work, and they call it a stalemate because nothing's working, he had to kind of pull Heller backwards, which, don't get me wrong, is a lot easier said than done. He would have had to pull Heller's weight all the way over top and bring him back. But trying to go over, he just couldn't get Heller's shoulder to come over, or to come under, really.
Reminding you that both Kane and Heller have already qualified.
Wrestlers with NCAA championship experience. From a year ago,
Little funk roll there. And a great job by Heller. There's a reversal. It should be.
Yeah.
It is.
Reese Heller won 10 bouts a year ago for the Panthers with bonus points, including 4 falls.
Really good job by Heller here. He puts in a little funk roll. I thought Kane was going to get out on a good spot, but just sees the hips of Kane, gets to it, stands up, and gets the reversal.
Kane's got to go quick. He's got to get up, tries to roll out of it, see what he can do. Now 10 seconds remaining. Heller continuing to try to hang on. 5 seconds remaining. Heller still hanging on and finally gives up the point, but he will get the win. So Heller knocks off Kane, and we have one more match before tonight's ACC Wrestling Championships linear on ACC Network. As last match right here. So remember, in the heavyweight final, Treffin will face Virginia Tech's Hunter Katka. And this is Virginia's Ryan Katka, as you mentioned, transferred into Virginia, taking on Pitzer. 2 automatic qualifiers at 285. The Katka brothers had to face off, and
Big brother got the win.
Yeah. 7-3.
So after claiming third place, Reese Heller with the 5-4 decision officially over Gavin.
It was fun to see them after that match, the big embrace.
Final third place match.
They both went as hard as they could and trained each other, worked together, and now his brother Hunter has a chance to go and win another ACC title. Started the day with 125, only natural. Finish it with the heavyweights, more of a chess match with Katka and Pitzer. Pitzer got the pin against Lau. I don't think we'll see a pin in this one. Both these guys, high IQ wrestlers.
It's 6:07 as you think about the turnaround time they need to do. You get it down to one mat. It's pretty awesome to watch.
Am I the only one who's curious what color they go with? Gray with blue circle or blue with gray circle?
Yeah, you might be.
Offense, guys. Offense.
1 minute remaining here in the first.
All right, there we get some movement. A lot of hand fighting and tie-ups right now through this first period. We see Pitzer trying, looks like, to get to a rush and get that wrist control, but there we go. Kaka's in on that leg. Kaka's got to pull that head out. Good job, get the leg around, and here should be a takedown. Pitzer trying to toss him over. Kaka will not get the takedown as long as his head's underneath and that arm is right. He's got to break that grip of Pitzer, and doesn't do it before the end of the period.
285 pounds, goes score between Ryan Katka of Virginia and Deacon Pitzer of Pitt.
So we've gone one period, still no score.
We will start the second at neutral. Katka with this major decision victory in the opening round of the
NC State with the team lead. Setting up for tonight's ACC Championship, 7 o'clock on the ACC Network. This one's still at zeros. We'll remind you the 10 featured championship matches tonight at 125. Jacob Camacho and Cooper Flynn from NC State and Virginia Tech, respectively. 133, Kai Orine against Sam Latona, NC State and Virginia Tech, respectively. Let me say that 5 times, as we still have no score here.
Pitzer doing good to get to the low single. He's just got to keep it, and Katka keeps us all even.
At 141, Cole Matthews from Pitt taking on Ryan Jack at NC State. I feel like that's going to be a fantastic matchup.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. There's so many great matchups.
At 149, Caleb Henson from Virginia Tech, NC State's Jackson Arrington. At 157, Sonny Santiago from North Carolina. It's Ed Scott, the 1-2 seeds. And Donian did win 3rd place, and we feel like, despite what looks like kind of a rough leg, with a little extra time, the credentials to get an at-large. Still no score here, Nick.
He was really light on that right knee, and Donian, and now Katka's in on the leg. Going to change that, a scramble between the two. Katka could be in a dangerous spot, but still, no one's completing the points. Looks like we might see what we did at the end of the first.
2 seconds. Oh, there it is. Yep.
They get it. Pitzer with the 3 points right before the buzzer.
And Pitzer electing to go down. 165, it'll be Nick Hamilton from Virginia. taking on Connor Brady in a 4 versus 3 matchup. Remember, Fields did beat Heller in what was a 1 versus 2 matchup in the 3rd place match. So we kind of feel like Derek Fields from NC State may have done enough. 3-0 lead, final period. Makai Lewis, former national champion, let alone multiple ACC titles, will take on Justin McCoy out of Virginia. It's at 174, 184. Thomas Stewart Jr. from Virginia Tech taking on Dylan Fishback, the 3 seed from NC State.
Good single there from Katka.
197, Trent Heidley, who had a tech fall in limited time, will take on Max Shaw from UNC. Kinsey from Virginia and Stout from Pitt have also qualified for the NCAAs out of 197, where they have 4. And then we're watching the 3rd place match of heavyweight tonight on ACC Network. It'll be Owen Treffen from NC State taking on Virginia Tech's Hunter Katka. He's probably watching his brother right now as he's down 4-0, and Pitzer now 7-0.
Yeah, Pitzer's come out really well and had a pretty good day. Despite obviously the loss that put him in the consolation bracket, but since then he's won a couple tight matches, and this one he puts a definitive win in the books over Ryan Katka. Is a very good opponent, obviously getting the 3 seed out of UVA.
So count it down. Pitzer, heavyweight for Pitt, will get a 7-0 win. Don't forget, Sean and Anthony will have the call tonight at 7 o'clock with Alex Wheat and Evan Badler producing and directing. A big and wonderful day yet again here as part of our coverage.